In this episode, we take a look at a cheap shotgun microphone, the Takstar SGC 598. Check this out. Let's start off with a quick tour of the Takstar SGC 598. Now, first of all, I've got a 3.5mm TRS connector, which actually sends a stereo signal into whatever you send that to, so you don't have to worry about getting audio on one track and nothing on the other track if you're doing stereo. So that's a kind of a nice little feature here. The main body of the microphone itself is plastic. It's decent. And then across the side here, we have our three switches. First of all, our on-off switch, and there is a LED indicator that turns green when the mic is on and the battery is strong enough to power the mic. So what's really nice about it is that it actually turns red when the battery is low. Super, super, super nice feature to have on a lower end product like this. So that's really pretty nice. I'm happy with that. In terms of the other features along the mic here, we've got our 10 decibel gain switch, so you can increase the output level. It actually does some amplification itself. And then finally, we also have our low cut switch or high pass, same thing. What that does is just remove some of the rumble that you sometimes get in different recording situations, especially if the mic is bumped or there's some sort of low frequency noise, maybe a little bit of wind or something like that. Is it super effective at that? I don't know about that. And it actually does cut off some of the low end, so it's probably not something I would normally use. I'd actually take care of that in post under most circumstances. Now the mic itself, the barrel up at the front, or the tube, is actually metal, and it has this interference tube design, which what that does is it helps to eliminate some of the sound that is coming from the sides of the microphone and makes the mic a little bit more directional. There also is this shock mount design, and the shock mount it's okay. It's not incredible. It has these little rubber pieces that connect to the rod that holds the mic, so it isolates it a little bit from the camera. But if you're going to be doing a lot of, if you do have it mounted on the camera or whatever you have it mounted to, if you're going to be doing a lot of movement, it's not going to work any miracles for you, but it does provide some isolation. It does come with this mount for the top of the camera for a cold shoe, and it's not that connector works fine. It's plastic also. But for $40, that's kind of what you have to expect. It also comes with a foam wind cover, which you can put over the barrel of the mic, which will eliminate some plosive sounds if you are working in super close to the mic. Those are the P's and B's, the sound that you get when you talk into a mic with those. And it's also helpful a little bit for wind. Now, in terms of powering the mic does have its own battery compartment here. You can see as we slide this door off, we actually have a compartment for a AA battery. I think it's awesome that they're using a AA battery. Those are easy to find almost anywhere. So if you're in a bind and you need one quickly, you can probably find one. Now, technically, shotgun mics are meant for outdoor use, and in most pro applications, they're using them within 18 to 24 inches of their talent. Shotgun mics are not like zoom lenses. They don't reach out great distances and pull in the sound like no other mic. So the fact that Takstar and plenty of other manufacturers of these lower end shotgun microphones make them with hot shoe or cold shoe mounts, something that you can actually place on top of your camera, is a little bit deceiving, because I think that most people assume that you can plop this thing on your camera, take the input or take the little cable from the mic, plug it into your camera, and suddenly you will get awesome sound. And the fact of the matter is that's not really how it works, unless you're working with the camera in super close, like 3 feet or less. And if you're doing that, then you've got to worry about wide angle issues, where you start getting a distorted image, and if you're shooting people, their faces start getting warped in strange, unpleasant ways. If that's the effect you're going for, so be it. This may be a great setup for that. But if you're going for a more naturalistic look, then that's not going to be really the way you'll want to work with this mic. This is what it sounds like when you record with the camera's microphone, when the camera is about 6 to 8 feet from your talent. So this is 6 feet is probably a good working distance under most circumstances. So this is what you're going to be sounding like if you're just going to use the built-in mic on your camera. Now this is what it sounds like with the shotgun mic, the Takstar SGC 598, mounted on top of the camera. So again, about 6 feet for me, 6 to maybe 7 feet. And it sounds maybe a little bit better because it is able to reject some of the noise from the side or some of the sound from the side, but it's not amazingly better. So if you're supposed to use a shotgun mic within 18 to 24 inches of your talent, and this has a hot shoe mount on it, or a cold shoe mount to mount on top of your camera, what do? Well, if you do mount it on top of your camera, it makes a fine mic for capturing what I would call reference audio, or what most people call reference audio. And all that is the audio track that you capture with your camera so that you can later sync up the sound that you capture with a microphone that's much closer to your talent. And for that purpose, I think it's fine. But one other option you have is to actually bring this mic a little bit closer, or a lot closer, to your talent. In this case, I've got it about, 24 inches from me, right up here above the frame. And what I'm doing is recording it, instead of into the camera, I'm recording it into a Zoom H1 audio recorder. So just that short little cable off the mic into a Zoom H1. In this case, all I've done is I've normalized the signal, so brought the peaks up to the max and everything else up with it. I've done a little bit of compression, and then I've used what's called the loudness maximizer in Adobe Audition. Now, how does this mic do in terms of self-noise, the noise that it itself generates when you're recording? And all mics have it, as we've discussed in the past. And what I've got here is an audio signal I recorded with the Zoom H1 set at the input level of 90 out of 100 and the plus 10 gain switch engaged on the microphone. So pretty much we're getting pretty close to the top of what this mic is capable of in terms of bringing in an audio signal and capturing it. And you can see in this case, this is dialogue with me. It is shot at about 24 inches from my mouth, and we are peaking somewhere around -5, -6, which is really pretty much ideal. So once we're in that kind of circumstance, what I'm going to do here, kind of my normal workflow, would be, first of all, to bring it into Adobe Audition. And what I would do is I would first normalize it. So that's just to bring all the peaks, the hottest peaks, to the very top, to -0 dB. So you can see it barely moved anything, so we've already got some peaks that are close to that later on in the file here. But the reason I wanted to do that is because that would bring the sound, or the noise, to kind of the practical level I would expect to get it in most of my recordings. And let's see where that falls. So here at the start we have some noise. I didn't select this part because that's where I actually start taking a breath before speaking. But let's just run through that really quickly, and we'll watch down here to see where the noise floor is. This is our noise floor. Okay, looks like it's bouncing around between -54 and -47. So this is definitely not world's quietest mic. Is that usable? Yeah, I think it's probably usable under most circumstances. If you need something cleaner than that, you're probably going to need to invest more money. If you're concerned about something cleaner than that, then you're probably playing in the wrong league with this mic. I would say that you will be getting some hiss in your recordings, and you need to be prepared for that if you're going to head down this path. It is not the cleanest mic, and you know, the trick is yeah, you can get your levels just right. You can get the input level up to 90 like I did on my Zoom, put the plus 10 dB gain on, and the problem with that is that's going to be fine for most dialogue cases, but as soon as you have a track where someone laughs really loud, they LOL, you're going to run into some problems because that's probably going to clip. So these are the kind of things you got to kind of keep in mind. So is this mic perfect for every situation? Absolutely not. Is it pretty decent for, you know, someone who's on a tight budget? Yeah, I think so. So overall, what do I think of this mic? I think it's a pretty decent mic for $40, a pretty decent shotgun mic for $40. Is it perfect? Not by a long shot. I think the noise that it produces is a little bit annoying, so you're going to hear that hiss almost all the time. It's important to get your gain staged right, you know, your input level. And if you don't, if it's too low and then you have to boost it a lot in post, you're going to get even more noise. So you've got to be really careful about that. I think it's really, to make it really worthwhile, you've got to get it close to your talent, and you can do that using either an external audio recorder like the Zoom H1, Tascam DR05, or by using an extension cable, and we'll have links for all those down below. And overall though, pretty good. If you've really got a tight budget and you can't afford to get something more expensive, I think for $40, this is a pretty decent buy. I hope you found this helpful. If you've got any questions, go ahead and leave those down below. Thanks for checking out the show. And if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you go ahead and do that. And we'll be sure to get you more great videos on how to improve your lighting and sound for video. Talk with you soon.